I'm always scratching my head. I tried to do a draft of this, I don't know, a couple of nights ago, and more touchy feely interpretation instead of trying to go by analytics and possibilities, letting things bubble to the surface there with environmentalism and climate change, and how I was really pissed off the other day because the ponds is very sensitive here. The forest city, right? Supposed to be able, they're not supposed to. That should be paramount in this area. All things considered, because of the history of London having to do with the Thames River here, and it has a pattern of flooding the banks in the springtime. And there actually was a flood. Let's see, London flood. In 1937, and there's two dams here. That one of them's not in use anymore at Springbank. It's the floodgates are open and have been for a long time. I don't remember exactly if it's been broken or, let's see. But more or less, just trying to control the water flow and so like the soil around here is very, very soft, right? And considering that London is like the hub of all the surrounding farmland and manufacturing for this area, even though we have Windsor down that way, you got Niagara Falls that way, you got Sarnia that way, Toronto that way, whatever. It wasn't really my first choice of living, but you don't always have that choice. I accept that I'm here now because moving around and trying to just throw your life into a car and bet everything on a long shot gets tiring after a while. And it really minimizes the possibilities of having long-term and solid relationships. And the money as I've said in other videos, doesn't compensate for the losses that you incur as a person. And I know my feelings are very similar to other people. Again, with trying to restore back to a more, say, Depression or 1940s mentality of conservation and self-respect, to be honest with you, because resources are finite. They're not everywhere and everything at once. It just doesn't make sense. Like, of course, I'm wearing clothes that benefit from globalism. The synthetic fibers, my underwear, even the shorts, even my cereal and my mug and my coffee, all of it, from the conveniences of such. But now, considering that we have overproduction of materials and products by that enslave countries, elsewhere, and their people, and the argument is, oh, well, that's the best they'll ever have. But that more or less is taking advantage of those people, and extortion by those means, right? If that's how you enslave people, is you give them an offer they can't refuse, and then you send them to the company store. You're like, this is a South Park meme, for fuck's sakes. And like I'm staring at my easel and this wood panel, which I'm in the middle of doing for someone else as a commission, and I'm staring at the steel and the bamboo floors. You know, all this stuff that comes from China or is manufactured elsewhere, Southeast Asia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Morocco, whatever. Uh, yeah, you know, of course, the manufacturing sector that disappeared from North America because some people at the top. Let's get this right. Is that, you know, consistently, as by observation, a lot of rich people aren't very smart and they don't know what to do with their money because, well, that's that. What do you do, right? If you were all the best inventors and inventions come from and ideas come from common everyday people. You know, the simplest solution is most likely to be the correct one. It's just the reality of things because when you're so far detached from what goes on at the very from the bottom, you have a top down perspective, staring down at everybody else from an ivory tower, so to speak. You know, it's all theoretical. And like, you know, I had my interview Thursday for that upcoming job, and again, I'm thankful and I'm humbled by that I even got an interview for such a thing because it's been so hard to get closer to where I once was, right? You know, reconciling who you are as a young person and those efforts, and you know, setting myself up from a very young age for success, and then you know other people get in the way, other ideologies get in the way, and you know other misconceptions, other people's misconceptions or miscommunications, misinterpretations, you know, misattribution. You know, all what can I say? All of the things that erode ourselves as society and as a people and persons, individuals, uh, because you know I'm looking at this photo and how it used to be entertaining to just observe a flood, or you know how old people will sit there and look out the window and you know just look at the birds and listen to the birds, and how you know if it does what if you don't stop and smell the roses, then life will just pass you by, and you get again globalism here. I'm staring right at it right now with this Internet of Things, and how these smart cities and there's too much technology makes us stupid, right? It makes us all stupid. People from this era, you know, their ability to improvise and to be resourceful is something that's being lost, uh, in my opinion. Not probably not to the scale as to which I believe it is, because you know I believe in that we have the capacity to do something better, and we have the intelligence and the wisdom to follow through with that. But you know, those who use force in politics and in life to get their way and use violence are the stupidest people on the fucking planet. Let's be clear about that. You know, as much as my opinion is that I would love to eliminate, you know, some people from the gene pool for their character and for their lack of intelligence, because they just won't learn and they just won't. You can't negotiate with terrorism, you know. You can't negotiate with communists, You just can't, right? This indoctrination of the mass collective, and as previously stated, right? Country scale communism doesn't work. It is meant to form trade unions, and that's it, because you have to have a democratic. You have to have a democratic means of decision making, regardless of whether or not someone thinks that democracy is two wolves deciding over who gets to eat the lamb. Um, but that turn of phrase or that meme just glosses over the fact that violence is a part of life and it's a part of nature, and civilization is the arm that is the long arm that holds it at bear, right? And you hold it back, law and order, so to speak. This is why we do it. Why we have these traditions and these values and these core identities. And I'm tired, absolutely fatigued by catering to outside people from outside in Canada, minority interests, intersectional feminism, and fucking environmentalism, the climate change, because it's all correlated, right? It's all one big mess, one big huge dumpster fire intended to erode and undercut North America because of our higher intelligence level, to be honest with you, and our because people say, oh, it's because of historical dominance and privilege and so on and so forth. But he who has the gun makes the rules, not the gold. He who has the gun makes the rules, and because it's just this different mentality. We can't be giving everything away to the bankers and letting them extort the rest of us for their benefit, and the financial system altogether, because you have a bunch of lazy people who don't have any skills, right? This is generalities here. Bear with me. Again, obviously not being as objective for this one. And it's just extremely exhausting. I get really tired of having to deal with these people who don't think about other people and don't think about the future and don't plan, and they're just instantaneous and are just impulsive and suicidal, right? I got no time for this, right? It's just the extortion of other people for the benefit of the self. I'm not gonna say. I was going to say there's, but no. It's just so fucking exhausting, right? I can't. You can educate people as much as you want, but that doesn't mean that they have the capacity to understand the implications of the knowledge and the consequences of the action. And I've run through a lot of different scenarios. I've talked to thousands of people in my life. I've been around hundreds of different types of tradespeople, and I've worked with people from across the planet. But I'm tired of other people telling me what it is to be Canadian, and I'm tired of other people trying to erase my history so that they can come in and take all the resources and then determine the future of this country. And the fact is that a lot of people that are white, right, within Canada, and again, I've said this in another video, have native blood in them. That's the reality of the matter, right? You can't just go around judging people by the color of their skin, by their history, sexual orientation, or whatever, right? Whatever you want to call yourself. Have at it. It's not my fucking problem. Because it was always about resources, right? It's always about the have and the have-nots. It's like the history of humanity, and who has the skill, who has the resources, and who's willing to do the labor. And I'm willing to do all three, frankly. Because I've been a garbage man. I did cleaning at a cement factory. I delivered for Staples. I've delivered papers. I've worked at a car wash. Let's see what else. I've worked in factories around in the surrounding area. I've worked on wind turbines, and I work on airplanes. I make art. I do whatever I can to improve myself. And even though I've been an asshole in some of these pursuits, and having to deal with the consequences of being intelligent, which are a lot of the time people don't understand you, because the majority of people are not that smart, and they're not there, and we're all assholes, right? We're all self-centered. We're all looking and caring about our individual lives first, which I don't have a problem with. But the fact is that the balance, right? The feelings and the concepts between ourselves as people and the society and our relationship with the earth, and how stupid rich people want to enslave other people because they don't understand what it is to lay a foundation of brick and masonry. That's the gist of the matter. And I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have to, participate in human trafficking. I don't want to have to be complicit by denial of reality, of the continuance that is, worldwide slavery, right? Because that's where we're at now, right? I don't like the fact that, we're making stupid people famous, and that we continue to support them. It doesn't make sense. Why? Why are we continuing with this? Why? Because for a profit? Just for a profit. And just for a prophecy. Because, propaganda and religious warfare are like this, right? That's another thing that I want to explore. We could get into it, but eventually. And also, there's many other people out there that have explored this already, and I recommend you listen to them, because I have, right? I've spent, as I keep mentioning, I've been in front of a computer since the early 90s, and I've been on the internet since 1997, and I'm not the only one like this. I'm not. There's other people out there that have been in front of a computer for 40 or 50 years. That's their entire life's work. And I give them respect for that, because, I stand on the shoulders of giants, and as do we all, right? But if we don't do something in service to other people, and we're not appreciated for that, then we're going backwards and we're degenerate. So, as is the entropy, let's try and stay organized and stop listening to stupid people. Stop listening to this climate change bullshit. Because frankly, that's what it is. It's about resources, and it's about control, right? There's, again, the engineer's dilemma. We have many ways of solving problems if we're just given enough time and resources, and stop thinking about things in a cost-benefit scenario. That's it for now.